Welcome back. You are tuned in to Traders Nation. My pleasure to have with us back again Dr. Martin Weiss. The Ultimate Depression Survival Guide is the name of the book. Protect your savings, boost your income, and grow wealthy even in the worst of times. Dr. Weiss, welcome to Traders Nation. How are you today?
How are you?
Good. Thanks for being back with us. It's been a while. Why is an effective financial and personal plan for the future is now more critical than ever?
Because we already are in a depression. And no one seems to realize it because we've just navigated ourselves into the eye of the storm.
Yeah.
Between the first phase, when things were collapsing rapidly, now this intermediate phase where we have this sharp rally in the market and a little bit of stability in the economy, and then we're going into a second phase. So this rally in the market you're seeing is your second chance. It's a godsend. It's your opportunity to get out of the market and do all those things that you wish you had done in 2008 at a better price, a much better price than you could have done just 6 weeks ago.
All right.
6 weeks ago, when the market was panicking, our advice was, no, don't sell now. Mm-hmm. Wait for a rally, and if the government steps in and announces all kinds of new programs, you may get that rally, and sure enough, here we are.
Sure.
Now the rally comes, and everyone says, oh, gee, maybe I don't want to sell after all. Maybe this is time to buy. And I think that's a huge mistake. This is a great selling opportunity. And if I may, I'd like to fast forward a little bit into the future.
Let's do that.
To put a positive light on this and show you where you could be. So imagine this scenario for yourself. You've whittled down your debt down to a manageable size. You've enhanced the security of your income. You've built up a nice nest egg of cash in a truly safe place. Your investment portfolio, your 401k are virtually bulletproof. And you have the opportunity to turn this great crisis into an equally great profit opportunity by picking up some of the best bargains of a lifetime.
Sure.
All of this is very possible. Now, and I show you with explicit step-by-step instructions exactly how to do it in the Ultimate Depression Survival Guide.
That's interesting. You say cash is safe. Where is it safe at?
The banking system is in much worse shape than the authorities are leading you to believe, and the big banks are in much worse shape than these so-called stress tests are going to indicate. But there still are safe banks in this country, and as one of the resources that we provide free with our book, we give you a current list of the safest banks in the United States, along with the weakest banks.
Nice.
And then if you want to go beyond that, you can go straight to the U.S. Treasury Department. I would not recommend long-term bonds or medium-term Treasury notes at this time because there's so much price risk. But if you buy short-term Treasury bills, there's no price risk, hardly at all.
Martin,
and you can get them straight on the Treasury's website. That means if you buy through their website, treasurydirect.gov, there's no bank, no insurance company, no broker, no intermediary between you and your money.
You know, I don't know, can people really trust the federal government site for correct information? Because they're going to tell us what they want us to know. I mean, let's face it, I hear buzz out there, oh, the banks are all safe. But then on the other hand, I look at their where they come in and they tell the banks, listen, the stress test, we don't want you to give out that information just yet. We want you to delay it. And I always thought, Martin, that, listen, if you have a good hand, you can't wait to show it. But if you have a bad hand, you can only bluff for so long. So that kind of falls under what the federal government is telling these banks to do, saying hold off on those reports. I'm thinking to myself, there can't be anything good there if they want to hold it off.
I'm sorry, I missed that last point. We're talking at the same time.
Yes, I said that I can't understand why the federal government would want these banks to hold off on that stress test report. I've always said that if you have a good hand, you can't wait to show it, but if you don't, you can only bluff for so long. What's your thoughts?
My thought is if you have a bad hand and you're in a bank, you better show it immediately.
Okay.
And get it out there, out in the public eye, and be the first one to bring it to the attention of your customers. Because when they hear about it in the news media, they hear about it from their friends.
Right.
Now it's no longer information; it's rumor.
Right.
And based on rumor, so my proposal, which I made to the authorities last year, in our white paper, was that rather than hiding the information, they should disclose more.
All right.
The banks, the banking regulators maintain a CAMELS rating for each banking institution.
Yeah.
And that rating is hidden. It's not disclosed.
Yeah, but the banks
by disclosing those ratings, they may cause some money to shift from weaker hands to stronger hands.
Yeah.
But that's a very good thing.
Well, the banks have a problem. Isn't it the fact that they're now in bed with the government, and the government's going to dictate exactly what they're going to do, don't they?
They have more problems. The bigger problem is that the total losses in the global banking and financial system due to this debt crisis alone have now been re-estimated by the IMF and are close to $4 trillion, most of those here in the U.S.
That's huge.
$4 trillion. And the more important fact is that only one-third of those $4 trillion have already been written off.
All right. So let's get back to how people can personally protect themselves. Where can they go? How can they do it?
Let me give you a quick six-step synopsis of the basic steps that I outline in my book.
All right.
Step number one is to get away from risky stocks. Okay. And like I said, right now you have a temporary rally in the stock market. That's very normal in the midst of a major bear market. It's a godsend. Mm-hmm. Use it as your opportunity to get out.
All right. Two.
Step two, same for real estate.
Yeah.
We're seeing a temporary improvement in some sectors of the real estate market. Doesn't mean you're going to get a better price, but you're going to get more buyers.
Yeah.
And that gives you an opportunity to unload the investment properties that you've been stuck with.
Sure. Three.
Step three, raise as much cash as you possibly can, not only by selling stocks and real estate, but also by cutting expenses and selling any other things you might own.
Good idea.
Step number four, make sure you keep your cash in one of the safe banks on our list. Make sure you avoid the weak banks on our list. Or better yet, follow my instructions in the book on how to exactly go about buying those short-term treasury bills, what the advantages are and what the disadvantages might be.
Yeah. Now, Martin, real quick, the list that you have, is it at your website or is it in the book?
The list has to be updated every quarter.
That's what I thought.
So in the book, I give you a link which takes you straight to the current list.
Okay, good enough.
And in the book, I give you all the instructions on how to use the list.
Okay, number five.
Number five, for assets you cannot sell, and there always will be some, but which you feel may be vulnerable to more declines, buy protection.
Yeah.
And you can do that with inverse ETFs, which are designed to go up when stocks fall. And the more the market goes down, the more you make, or the more you can protect yourself against losses in those assets.
It's kind of like going short but being long.
No, yeah, you're buying, you're not going short, and they're going short for you, in effect.
Right. That's right. All right, number six.
Number six, and this is the biggest payoff of all, get ready for the true big bottom in the markets. That's not today, but it's coming.
Where do you think
and
it's going to go?
At the big bottom, you should be able to do a lot of things. You should be able to lock in a relatively safe interest rate, maybe up to 10% or more for years to come.
Really?
You should be able to buy shares in our country's best companies for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
You may be able to buy a dream home in a great location that's practically being given away. And those prices then will make today's so-called low prices look very expensive by comparison.
Where do you think the market's going to go?
The market between 1929 and 1930 on the Dow fell from peak to trough exactly 89%.
Wow. So
it translated into today's market, if that scenario were to be duplicated, just to give you parameters, it translated to today's market from the 2007 peak.
Yeah.
That would be a decline of 12,600 points down to a low of about 1,500 on the Dow.
Wow, that's amazing.
So let's assume for argument's sake that's the worst case scenario.
If you can assume within 30 seconds, that'd be great.
And if you assume only half as bad, then we'd still be going down another 40% for today. So
that's huge. Dr. Weiss, where can we find a copy of the Ultimate Depression Survival Guide?
The site is ultimatedepressionsurvivalguide.com.
All right, head on over there today. You can get a copy at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and a whole lot more. Dr. Weiss, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back.